Hi everyone, welcome back to SuperKalam. You can see on screen the most important notes that I used to prepare in my preparation journey. And in this session, I'm going to help you understand how you can also make these kind of notes in your journey. Now, note making is simple, it is mandatory, you have to do it. But notes are made in two separate ways, prelims and mains. That does not mean that you have to prepare two different registers, one for prelims, one for mains. एक ही फॉर्मेट के नोट्स हम एक ही रजिस्टर में बना सकते हैं, बट दोनों का ऑब्जेक्टिव डिफरेंट हो सकता है. एंड दिस वीडियो इज जस्ट फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. लेट्स स्टार्ट. उससे पहले लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन, आर यू मेकिंग नोट्स और आर यू डिपेंडेंट ऑन कोचिंग्स प्रोवाइडिंग यू द मटीरियल्स? दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो जल्दी से कॉमेंट सेक्शन में बताओ. लेट्स स्टार्ट. So warriors, I shared last night my own notes which I used to prepare while I was preparing for UPSC. These notes are from GC Leong and from the NCRTs in geography. And a lot of you asked me, ma'am, how could you make these mind maps, flowcharts, and how were you able to revise them? All of these are mind maps that I've prepared. So today we are going to make notes on our own. And I'm going to first start by mentioning this name. You must have heard about this very famous physicist, Sir Richard Feynman, right? Now, who was he? He was one of the finest teacher that physics has ever seen. When I say finest teacher, I mean that he used to say that when we copy anything, copying is the illusion of learning. Illusion of learning. And this is the quote that stood apart. This is the quote that I still share with all my students in my classes. Copying is the illusion of learning. Agar if you think that you copy as it is word by word any point from the book in your notes or from the newspaper in your notes, that means you are in an illusion. You have not learned or understood those things which you are copying straightforwardly. So if I'm standing in front of you and telling you that note making is important, the only reason why am I saying it is that note making helps you to think. Note making helps you to understand, and note making also helps you to become more and more analytical in life. And when you are more analytical in mind, mind wise and also emotionally, then you would notice a phenomena called neuroplasticity, which happens in the brain, which expands our thinking, our brain activity. And this is what makes you stand apart from the crowd. And this is what Richard Feynman used to teach. He also used to say, if you want to understand something, if you want to remember and retain something till your exam, you need to teach it. Now, not everyone will be willing to become a teacher. Then how do you teach it to retain any fact? Whatever you understand today, whatever you learn today, make sure that you explain it to someone or even to a chair as if they are a 5-year-old kid. If a 5-year-old kid can understand your explanation, that means you have understood the concept really well. And that is how you will be in a position to retain anything that you read or study or learn in your life. Not just in UPSC, but in life. So now, let's start with our class. अपनी class से शुरू करते हैं, ठीक है? So when we talk about note making, you need to understand that whatever notes you prepare, it is not what the book said. If you think note makes basically means what the book is saying, what the book said. No, you are wrong. It is not that. Note making means what I would say if someone asked me this. Yesterday, I was talking to a student, a super student of SuperKalam, to understand how their preparation is going on. After 1 minute of telling me that she was enrolled in a coaching center, these are the number of tests she gave, then she was talking in English, right? She started her conversation in English. She was an English medium student. After 1 minute, she could not find the right vocabulary to explain her preparation right currently. And that's when she shifted to Hindi. And even in Hindi, she was not able to explain to me what are the resources that she is using, what are the topics that are confusing her, what are the problems that she is facing, why it happened. It happened because she was not seriously putting her head into the preparation. That's why she was fumbling when it came to the resources that she was using, the topics that she was studying in her day. Even her timetable, she was not able to explain that. Why? Because she might not have prepared that timetable really well. And she was making everything up on the call, when I was asking, as in when I was asking her question, she's tried to make up everything. Ki, ma'am, I am putting in these many hours, but after 2 hours, my productivity goes down. When I asked her, what do you do after 2 hours? She started speaking about, having difficulty to understand, having difficulty to rote learn. When I asked her, why are you rote learning? Then she said, because I'm not able to understand, so I have to rote learn. Then I asked her, how many topics or subjects are you rote learning? Almost everything she was ending up rote learning it. That's when I understood the lack of focus and the, more attention given to copying in her notes, more attention given to completing the syllabus in her coaching, that was distracting her. So her notes were also not complete and her preparation was also not on the right track. This is the power of having attention and having, this is the power of not being able to explain anything, like a other person is a 5-year-old. That fumbles your own preparation. You have to do rehearsal of your own explanation. That's how you can make notes. Now, let's move ahead. आगे बढ़ते हैं. In this session, I am going to divide the class into different parts. When we talk about note making is done for prelims and note making is done for mains. Now you must be wondering, ma'am, but that would we would end up making a lot of notes, a lot of registers would be used if we are separately making notes. But you don't have to make notes separately. Prelims and mains are two separate exams whose notes are made together. One single register for polity you will use, in which you are going to segregate the topics from prelims and mains perspective. How? I'll help you do that through a live note making technique. Let's say we are making note on article 356. Now polity is there in both prelims and mains. What changes is, in prelims, the same topic would be asked in MCQ format. In mains, the same topic would be asked in subjective question format, right? That would be the basic difference. When we talk about Article 356, when we talk about President's rule, if we have studied, first of all, the first rule should be that you have to read first. Read from the perspective of understanding. Then second reading mein you have to learn. When you've understood, learning becomes really easy. Now after second reading is done, you have to come to note making. Note making is mandatory. If you're not making notes and dependent on only coaching material, your mains is going to be doomed. Now, when we talk about note making, how are we going to make notes from both prelims and mains perspective? That does not mean you have to make two separate notes on Article 356. You just have to classify it in a better way. Article 356, first heading would be in your note, what? What is Article 356? Failure of constitutional machinery in a state linked to Article 355. Then, on what grounds is it incorporated? Governor's report or otherwise? Then what is the timeline? What is the timeline? Pehle first proclamation is done, then parliament's approval, then simple majority, then 6 months extension, maximum how many years extension is to be given. So you will write down the timeline and then you will write effects. What is the effect of this article? And then is there any key Supreme Court judgment? You will make a small box on it. On this particular article, the SR Bomai case, if you want to mention it, you can mention it, right? This is something that you have to take into consideration when you are making notes. And then you can revise it in the third reading and in the fourth reading. You don't have to go to the book to revise in the third and the fourth reading. If in the third and the fourth reading you are opening up the book again, that means you haven't made notes in a concise manner. Once you make notes, then you don't have to open up the book. You can incorporate value addition through current affairs. If there is any current affair on Article 356 recently, you can add it in your notes. But after making notes, if you have to open up the book, that means you have not just done justice while making notes. Alright, this is the power of making notes. This is how notes should be made. Another important example. So over here, let's say if we are studying monsoon today. Okay, now this was simple way of making notes. Now I'll teach you how to make mind map. When we talk about making mind map, you have to understand first the key topic should be in circle in the center. Monsoon. First aspect is mechanism. How is the monsoon takes place? Mechanism. In mechanism, 4 points. Then you will write what are the factors which influence monsoon? 4 points. Then what are the 2 branches of monsoon? 2 branches क्या है monsoon की? Write it down over here. Arabian Sea arm, Bay of Bengal arm, right? Then you will go to the word onset and retreat. These are the terms that are often associated with monsoon, right? And then you will write why it matters, why monsoon matters, and what are the main paper related angle to monsoon. For example, climate change, flood plus drought, then MSP, irrigation, disaster management, they are all tied to monsoon, right? So any current affair update on monsoon, any recent cyclone which happened, you can link it over here. This is how a particular ideal mind map is made. This is how you need to make notes. इस तरीके से notes बनाने हैं आप लोगों को. If I have to show you an example, this is the example of article 356. Then monsoon का example that we discussed. This is how this monsoon mind map can be made. Always remember that your notes should reflect the summary of what you have read. It should not be a copy paste of what you have read. It should be a summary of what you have read. These are the rules for making a mind map. If you are making mind map even in your mains answer, please take a screenshot. This is how you have to make mind maps in your mains answer. Alright, so this is something that I wanted all of you to understand. Plus, Sir Richard Feynman used to say that whatever you are reading, read it first properly, then close the book. Then try to teach it. If your siblings are there in the room, try to teach it to them. If there is an empty chair in the room, try to teach it to the empty chair. And notice where you stumble or where you fumble. Right? That is where you will understand if you have understood the topic clearly or not. This is how you need to do note making. इस तरीके से note making आप लोगों को करनी ही होती है. ठीक है? Now I'm going to give you a small practice, a small assignment you can say. Article 356 President's Rule. What you have to do is make a 1-pager note on it. In this format, what, grounds, timeline, effects, इस format में make a mind map and share it on our Telegram community. The link is given in the description box. Let me judge today how many of you can perfectly make excellent notes on Article 356 and make the mind map only after studying about it. So I am going to post it on Telegram community and then I'm going to check how many of you made the notes in the most perfect way possible. Then I'll take a small test on Telegram. Alright, this is your assignment in this class. Do let me know if you want me to share my own notes on the Telegram community. I'll be happy to share them. Thank you so much everyone. And then you have SuperKalam with you. Go to Ask SuperKalam and on Ask SuperKalam, you can type your doubt. Let's say you want to understand and remember Ramsar wetland sites, which are very important for prelims as well as mains, with the help of maps. SuperKalam instantly will not just help you remember the Ramsar wetland site with the current affair update, but also will help you remember it visually with the help of very beautiful mind map and maps. You can save it for your revision purpose. This is the power of SuperKalam. I hope you'll use it very judiciously.